Fiorentina lost, and that's an extraordinary news for Juve. Weston McKennie, his really beautiful moment that can possibly be rewarded. What is really happening with Douglas Luiz? And fourth, Mercato. Cristiano Giuntoli will go to Saudi Arabia to support the team in Supercoppa, but it could possibly already bring a new face into the plane to Torino. Pay attention. A lot will be discussed in today's video, so put a maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope really that you are doing well. Guys, this morning I needed something. I needed to visualize you because it's Christmas Eve. And I asked to Twitter, to Grok, to generate an image of Juventini of the GJustjuve community around the Christmas tree. That's what it did for me. And I was really feeling better. Of course, you don't look all of that like that. But I'm happy to see Juventini, Juventine from different races, cultures, coming from different backgrounds, but all together. I'm extremely proud of this community, so thank you for that. Hopefully you will celebrate a lot. If not, anyway, I'm thinking about you because I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the subscription. If you want to join that fantastic family and community, it's now the moment to do it, because now we start with the news. Fiorentina lost yesterday against Udinese. Am I surprised about that news? Absolutely not. You will tell me, Beppe, what are you speaking about? Fiorentina was doing extremely well in Serie A. We are playing against them next game. Be cautious. Pay attention. I will tell you no, because sometimes we are underestimating what is happening around the pitch. And I have to say that Fiorentina has been extremely unlucky in the last few weeks. We all remember what happened to Bove. And I'm happy that he's doing well. I'm happy that he's doing much better. Let's see how we will recuperate. Apparently, he will not be able anymore to play in Serie A for the rules there. But I'm happy that the kid is doing better. But it had been a huge big impact. Do you remember the game against Inter that has been stopped with players really around Bove that were crying? Big impact. Also, the days later, Raffaele Palladino lost his mother. Again, condolences. We already said it and I wanted to repeat it because I'm extremely sincere about that. But I think that these things are really impacting Fiorentina. What they need is probably another shock to wake up. And that could be possibly the game against the Juve. And that will be this weekend. So Juventus needs to do really pay attention to the game of Fiorentina. But we have a really beautiful opportunity. If we are looking at the ranking of Serie A, what do we see? That Fiorentina with one game in hand against an Inter that continues to win. Yesterday again against Como. Well, they are there at 31. If they lose, we are equal with the same number of games played. If Juventus, they are able to beat them, we go at 34, going over them. And that's already a beautiful news, reaching Lazio that will play against Atalanta. So we could possibly, at the end of 2024, be again mathematically in the top 4. Then, of course, Juventus needs to do their own job. And if we are looking already at the next game, well, it will be Lazio-Atalanta. Pay attention. If Lazio is not able to win against Atalanta, we reach them. But then you have a Fiorentina-Napoli where you can really take distance. So pay attention to these games because they are really important. So the loss of Fiorentina, not surprising for me, but a really good news for Juventus Football Club. Andrea Cambiaso will be there for a really huge big month of January, and I'm extremely happy about that. And not only Beppe, but also Andrea himself that wrote on Instagram, how beautiful was it to come back, to defend these colors together with my teammates, defending the colors. Beautiful words from Andrea Cambiaso. Welcome back because we need him on the left, on the right, up, down, wherever. But Andrea Cambiaso is fundamental for Thiago Motta and boys, also because we need a lot of Juventini for that month of January. Look, Koopmeiners, good news yesterday. More and more optimism towards having him on the bench against Fiorentina. If not, well, he will be there in Saudi Arabia, which is really a good news. But already there on the bench against Fiorentina can be an extra added value. We saw a Juventus with, we saw a Juventus without Koopmeiners in the game that we played and that we won against Monza 2-1, so it's important to have him. Koopmeiners will be there. Who will not be there? Danilo is really a doubt, and also Jonas Rui are a doubt. On top of that, Douglas Luiz, and that's where we enter the topic Douglas Luiz. You remember, precautionally taking out against Stuttgart. We didn't see him for a few games. Then he came back, was about to score a fantastic bicycle goal, and then he disappeared again. Nobody knows what is happening. A lot of rumors. Is he feeling well in Torino? Is the relationship with Thiago Motta doing well? You know, when we don't see a player and we don't know, then we start to fantasize, especially because Juventus, when you're looking at the report that they put on their site, they said there is no lesion for Douglas Luiz. So we were all expecting to see him again back on the field. If I'm not wrong, this morning I was looking, not even 300 minutes for Douglas Luiz in Serie A, which is absolutely far from what we were expecting. Well, Douglas Luiz is suffering from an intramuscular edema. Tell me, Beppe, what does that mean? We are not doctors. I will reveal your secret. I'm not a doctor neither. It's a problem. It's a problem apparently, that intramuscular edema, because it's difficult to cure and it's prone to frequent relapses. So I asked also there for a bit more information. Intramuscular edema refers to an accumulation of excess of fluid within the muscle tissue. Okay, what does that mean, or how does it come? Because of an injury or a trauma, can come because of an inflammation or an infection. These are the causes why you start having that intramuscular edema. What are the symptoms? And that's important to understand how he's feeling at the moment. Well, swelling around the affected muscle. Sorry if I'm reading, guys, but I don't know everything by heart. Pain, which might be constant or even increase with activity. You start to understand. More you have activity, more the pain is growing. Stiffness of a feeling of tightness in the muscle, and then reduced range of motion in the affected area. These are the symptoms of having an accumulation of excessive fluid, called also intramuscular edema. What are the treatments? Rest and elevation to reduce the fluid accumulation. Compression, anti-inflammatory medication, physical therapy, and addressing the underlying cause. So they need to address where it's coming from. Treating infection, improving from the lymphatic flows, etc., etc. So it's really annoying because it's a problem that we cannot say it's a ACL, it's a knee problem, or it's a problem that actually came because of... It's not a problem that you say, okay, it's 20 days, then Douglas Luiz will be back and we have him and he can be... No, it's a problem with an inflammation. It's something that is swelling. It's something, the more that you play, more you have activity, more it's a problem. So we don't know when he will be there. They're really trying to rest him. We made mistakes to have him back earlier than expected. So it's a player that we hope to have again in the month of January. He could possibly be there against Fiorentina, because the player could possibly even enter for a few minutes, but more he plays, more he's feeling pain. And that's why he's not there. So you know what is happening with Douglas Luiz. So no, the rumors about him feeling unwell in Torino, etc., we can put it aside. It's a problem that he has. We know it. We are unlucky with these kinds of injuries in the moment. Weston McKennie on the other side, he's feeling really well. And I'm extremely happy about that. And he could also be rewarded because of his extraordinary moment with a contract extension. Weston McKennie, I remember that I talked in the month of May with him. And we were speaking about seasons where he was only scoring and a lot of goals, or season where he was doing only assists. And he told me, Beppe, it's always like that. Or I score or I assist. I need to, or I should do like this. And that would be perfect. Look, I was looking at the stats of Weston McKennie this season. Weston McKennie already played 17 games. 4 goals, 2 assists in 984 minutes. He didn't play all of these games from the start. He didn't play all of these games 90 minutes. But when he's there, he's giving a lot of contribution. 4 goals, 2 assists for a midfielder that can play as a left back, that can play as a number 9, that can play as a number 10, as a number 6, and number 8. He can play all the roles. We didn't see him yet in the goal. But I think it's absolutely deserved to extend him until 2029, a player that brings positivity, brings a smile, brings also that fighting spirit and the certainty that when you fight, when you are great in terms of behavior, when you are when you go for it, fino alla fine, you can change your destiny. So good for Weston McKennie, of course, continuity. That was a word that Max Allegri was always asking to Weston McKennie. Doing great, fantastic, but now he needs to show it with continuity, not disappear at a certain moment, because that would be a big pity. Mercato. After nearly 10 minutes of the video, Tutto Sport is opening with Tomori in Arabia, poi Zirkzee, 2 big names. Tomori in Saudi Arabia, and then Zirkzee. Let's proceed step by step. Why Tomori? Because Hancko is the number one priority. Hancko that Juventus identified already a few months ago. They want to go for him. It was not possible in the summer. They wanted to go for him next summer. Then, of course, with Bremer and Cabal out, they wanted to anticipate it. They tell me that it's true, that Giuntoli is extremely interested about the player, that things can even go towards a beautiful green light from Feyenoord. The player's salary, the value of the player, everything okay. The only thing is that Feyenoord, they don't want to let him go in January. And there, in the Netherlands, they are quite rigid. He said, no, it's no. No, it's no. No, it's no. So when you cannot, or if you go with an excessive number, you put 100 million euro, I'm sure that even Feyenoord will say no. But otherwise, Hancko will not go to Juventus in January. So Giuntoli is looking for alternatives, and one of the names is Tomori. We already spoke about him. I already presented you the player in one of the past videos, so I will not repeat it. But what will happen is that in the month of January, on the 3rd already, we play against Milan. And that could be a good opportunity for Giuntoli to speak with the management there, to say, look, it's a player that is not playing with you. He's in collision with the coach. The coach is still there on the bench. You have no solutions. We would love to go for him like we did for Kalulu, maybe with a loan, with an obligation to buy at certain conditions, maybe with a loan, with an option to buy. Let's see what the formula will be. But Juventus, Giuntoli will really try to bring Tomori in. Later today, I will have a call also with someone that is taking care of Mercato to understand a bit more how feasible it is, but I can reassure you that Juventus and Tomori is something that we don't have to just neglect, forget about it. So pay attention to Tomori more and more and more and more. What about Antonio Silva? Well, because of Hancko not being there, it's a player that, with the relation that we have with Jorge Mendes, it could be a player that Juventus will also try to push again with Benfica, saying also there are problems between the player and the coach. He's not playing. A bit the situation of Tomori. We would love to go for him on a loan already in January. One thing is sure, Giuntoli is really pushing to have defenders as soon as possible. Not only defenders, because we are also looking at the situation, offensive players, strikers. And if we already spoke about Danilo Raspadori, Fagioli Raspadori, well, there is a name that is in the wish list of Thiago Motta, and it is Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee, huge big problems at Manchester United. They hate him. They really hate him. They don't like him. They were expecting a number 9, and he's not a number 9. He's a falso 9, if we want. It's a player that is playing behind the striker as a number 10, or can play as a number 9, but not with the same characteristic as a Højlund, a Haaland, a Dusan Vlahovic. And that's why they understood that there is a real big problem. The coach is not the coach that is really believing in him. Can we go immediately to him? The player would love to. If it's for him, if you look at a bit about his activity on Instagram, liking all the pictures, following the Kenan Yildiz and this player from Juve and this player from Juve, the player would be already in Torino already now. Probably is regretting that he went to Manchester United. But let's see, because they invested a bit of money. So what can happen there, depending on the condition that Manchester United will give. And the same can be done or said about Paris Saint-Germain and Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani, a player that is not playing at all, is not in the plans of Enrique, the coach of Paris Saint-Germain. They prefer to sell him because they invested 2 years ago 90 million euro. But Kolo Muani, Zirkzee are players that we can have in that list for on-loan players until the end of the season, with options for the remaining part of their career, 25, 26, 26, 27. Of course, you will tell me, Beppe, you're speaking about Hancko, Antonio Silva, Tomori, Zirkzee, Kolo Muani, Raspadori. But Beppe, did we suddenly became rich? Do we have all the money in the world? No. That's why we will have to finance these things. And I already told you yesterday, but it's already a few weeks that I told you, Nicolo Fagioli, from what I hear, from what they are telling me, there is no chance that he will stay, not even in January. So he's already with his luggages ready to leave Juventus Football Club. And we will cash in on Fagioli, another player that we didn't speak about in the last few days because he was taken away from the Mercato by his agent, but he's coming back there. It is Bangula Fagioli, to finance an extra entry and trying to go with super easy deals like loan with obligation to buy for certain players. One thing is sure, Giuntoli is moving One thing is sure is with Fiorentina losing yesterday, a bit more positivity is coming in Juventus entering that top four. Super important to have continuity and to continue to invest, because without the top four, I already tell you, it will be, and I repeat it, a bloodbath. So Fiorentina losing yesterday, we having the opportunity this weekend to try to beat Fiorentina could result in something good also for the wallets of Juventus and the wallet of Cristiano Juventini, that could possibly invest a bit more than he was initially thinking, or I mean, that he was thinking about 2 weeks ago when we were drawing. Ragazzi, that was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. Please continue to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve.